Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture, Justice League Monday. We are in the final 10 Justice League Mondays. We're looking at Justice League America number 43 from October of 1990 and Justice League Europe number 19, also, of course, from October of 1990. Kind of a funny one in this one, clever, as they often are. I want to say a two-parter, first part of a two-parter. Here we have the finale of Justice League Europe versus the Extremists. Justice League America brought to us by Giffen and DeMatteis, art by Hughes and Martian. Justice League Europe, story by Giffen and Jones, art by Sears and Elliott. Okay, let's look at Justice League America first. Why not? What do we see here? We got, is that Wonder Woman back there? I don't think that's Wonder Woman back there. But if you know your DC lore, you're going to recognize some of these characters who are playing poker, the cards with the League on them. All right. Hey, is that J for Jack or is that J for Joker? Technically Jack. Maybe Jackass. Okay. First Bank of Manhattan. There is a bank robbery going on, and it is by an old DC villain character called Sonar. I believe he was an enemy of the Green Lantern back in the day. And he's talking about, you know what? So many of my fellows have given up on simple bank jobs. They want to take over the world. They want revenge on a superhero. They're always getting themselves beat. I just want money. I want to buy a house, you know, in like the French Riviera, and it's going to be great. And that's all I need in my life. And he runs smack dab into the chest plate there. Oops, there we go. Of Orion. Don't tell me there was a silent alarm. Bingo. Yes, not just Orion, but Light Ray, Green Flame up there, and the Martian Manhunter. He has run into the Justice League of America. Okay. And so he attacks with his sonic gun, and it's throwing a lot of them off, including Green Flame, who in her flame form is not as impacted by this as the other heroes are, but it messes her up enough that when she takes a shot at him, she misses, and she burns all of his money, which I believe was about $500,000, something like that. You know, oh gosh, I'm sorry, but well, I was still a little unsteady from what your gun did. Why the hell am I explaining myself to you? I sure don't know. Personally, I think all you superheroes are mentally unstable. My ears. I mean, why anyone on Earth would think they could somehow change the world by putting on a costume and beating people up is beyond. Sonar, don't you move. Okay, well, Sonar is having some trouble, obviously, with the League. He's outnumbered. He is outgunned. And while he is running away, who happens to walk out of a place but Wall Tortelini? This is the guy who wrote that big sort of revealing hit piece on the Justice League that was going to be like in Spy Magazine. And he got fired, and he hasn't managed to sell his work anywhere else. He's getting a little bit desperate. He sees the League in action, decides to follow. Maybe there will be a story out of it. And he witnesses Sonar here taking out John Jones. You know, now, little man. Orion, don't. Now, I eat you up, chew you up, and spit you out. Would it help if I surrendered? No. And so what Sonar does is set his little gun to maximum. And boom. And it sort of takes Orion out, but it also shatters all the windows on this street. And so the League jumps into action to deal with that so people don't get hurt. Green Flame creates this wall of flame that sort of melts all the glass together, which probably doesn't really make that much sense. The spares are hit by Light Ray. Remember, he's kind of based on, like, you know, Hermes. So he's super fast and has light powers. And this giant chunk of glass is falling. She slows it with a vortex. Orion catches it. And of course, well, it sort of shatters around him. But still, ultimately, nobody is hurt. And in all the confusion, Wally manages to get away. Sonar gets away. And Wally meets him in this alley and decides to help him out because he sees there might be a story in all of this. All right. So, good setup so far. We get the League returning back to the embassy. Beetle is dying that they were beat by Sonar. It's just that the four of you and Sonar. I mean, he makes Major Disaster look like a heavyweight. Guy Gardner comes in like, what? What's going on? He took us by surprise. That tuning fork gun of his seemed to affect my Martian inner ear even more than tuning fork gun. Starts dying, and we get John Jones there. Even as I said it, I knew it was a mistake. Okay, so this is the era where you have all these weird DC villains, and, you know, they are made light of in a lot of these things, but it really kind of humanizes a lot of these characters that, just like with this Justice League, it was sort of a bunch of characters that nobody really wanted, that didn't have a better place to be, and they get turned into the League. Kind of do that with some of the villains as well. So at least these villains are getting some life, and they're probably putting more character into these villains than they ever got when they were just doing the typical supervillain stuff back in the Silver and Bronze Ages. All right. Well, Orion, of course, does not like Beetle's attitude. You know, a warrior returns from battle to be mocked by you. So he's kind of choking him. Guy Gardner is like, oh, right. About time someone around here put that little Weisenheimer in his place. If you want, I'll hold him down while you kick him. Oh, what does he say? Is he wonderful? Oh, I see. Oh, wonderful. Now he's your fan, you know. The bug man may be undisciplined, but he has spirit. I like that. You kidding? While you, on the other hand, turn my stomach. You're kidding. I never kid. So instantly, Orion does not like Guy Gardner. Well, I mean, join the club. By the way, come on, look at that. Gorgeous. So well drawn. Oh, you know, again, it's awesome to be able to do the action shots, but the faces, the expressions, it's really great. Really great stuff. Well, Wally and Sonar, he's gotten Sonar patched up from getting punched by Orion. And, you know, he's saying, no, I got a different idea for a story. I don't want to go after the Justice League. I want to write something from the perspective of the super villains, you know. And Sonar's like, well, I'm actually kind of boring, but I got some people you might want to talk to. And in they go to a bar called The Dark Side. Yeah, they got cocktail waitresses dressed up as, well, that's Phantom Lady, dressed up as Wonder Woman, you know. Probably could do something with a bar like that nowadays. And we get a whole bunch of villains in this piece. I'm not going to, you know, but I think I'm going to say Calculator, Calendar Man, Black Mass. Did they just call him Crowbar? He had a crowbar. There's Sonar. Micro. A lot of it are more obscure villains. You know, if you got Who's Who of the DC universe, you know who a lot of these people are. I like the waitress there saying something of, say, God. Now they're letting normal weirdos in, you know, as Wally, Wall Tortelini is kind of checking her out. She's not real pleased about it. So, you know, Wally's kind of like, I don't know if I should be in here. I mean, these are all super villains. He's like, yeah, you know, outside they're super villains. Here, they're just a bunch of good guys. They're all talking about their problems, you know, etc. So there's a poker game going on. And Brainstorm is PO'd because it keeps getting interrupted because he lost a lot of money and he wants to win it back. Well, Wally and Sonar are going to get involved in that game. Meanwhile, we have a little discussion between John and Max. Yes, maybe we were a little bit, overconfident when we took on Sonar. He goes, but look, you know, we can't do that anymore. We got to get this stuff right. You know, we got to worry about Bee and her control over her powers, and Orion's somewhat homicidal tendencies. Okay. I mean, in a way, he's kind of worse than Guy Gardner. I mean, Guy Gardner's rough, but generally speaking, wouldn't be trying to kill somebody. We flash into this poker game. Nice freaking page. All these different DC bad guys. And the different ways they're holding their cards, the way they're looking. Beautiful work. And ooh, Wally looks real confident, and he goes all in. All in. Well, gentlemen. Okay. All right. What the hell? My Power Stone. Puts in his little brain helmet. Puts in his crowbar. Puts in his... So they're all putting in their super villain gadgets into the pot to see who's going to walk away with them. And Sonar has a really good hand. Full house, queen over tens. And yeah, they're using sort of like, girly cards to play this game. Let's see you beat that, Tortelini. And by the way, look how great the smug confidence. All you get is the eyes, the nose, that little bit of hair. Oh, the eyebrows. Tells the story in one panel. And the next panel tells the remainder of the story. Old Wally had 4 aces, and Wally now has a bunch of supervillain equipment. What is he going to do with that? And there's somebody watching him from a car. Send in a pickup team. I'll stay on his trail. Yeah, tell the man that I can verify Tortelini does have the information. Yes, sir. I agree, sir. He won't have it for long. What information? Well, he's got a notebook filled with the secrets of the Justice League. The secrets of the Justice League. And somebody wants that information. Who could it be? There's just a nice little black and white Fire and Ice, who were really becoming very popular characters. Yes, partly because of the fact that they were both smoking hot, but also, that was me knocking the leg off of Strongheart the Paladin, which I had to fix, and it fell back apart, and it has to be fixed again, just in case anybody wondered what that noise was. So, yeah, those characters, though, these books did a great job with characters and making them, more than just superpowers and a costume. It really, really, really did. Yes, it took a humorous tone with a lot of it, but as we've seen from the last few issues, not always a humorous tone. It could get very, very, very serious at times. This one's pretty serious. They're going up against a bunch of guys who basically caused a nuclear holocaust on their planet. You took our world from us, extremists. Now we're taking it back. We'll roll through this one relatively quickly, as we oftentimes do. So as we saw in the last issue, they were at this Wacky World amusement park. One of the robots blew the thing up, and in the process, awoken from a cryogenic sleep. Mitch Wacky, the man who invented the park and initially invented the robots. And of course, he's stunned. What's happened? What's going on? He is really the last man left on his planet, other than Silver Sorceress, who's there as well. So he's stunned. So he runs into his little command center, and they're kind of like, "This was where they ran a amusement park from." And he's like, "No, I set this up to gather all the information in the world it could while I was in my cryogenic sleep, so that when I awoken and could, be cured of my malady, I would know what had happened while I was asleep." Okay. Well, Wally manages to find the head of that Carney robot, and they manage to hook it up. And it's going to fill them in and fill Mitch in on maybe a few details about that world that we do not know. But here we have a little intermission. As Max Lord leaves the United Nations, they have finally come to an agreement. They are going to surrender to the extremists. Or as he says it, right now, we'll do anything we have to to get those warheads out of orbit and hope that the extremists play by their own rules. But what if they don't, Max? What if they accept your surrender and leave the missiles hanging over your heads? I don't know, but we'll have to think of something, won't we? We'll just have to keep making this up as we go along. And you notice it's interesting. You got to assume that these Justice League America issues are maybe sort of after all of this took place, because it's certainly not referenced within JLA. And, kind of probably would be for the most part. Well, they hook him up and he fills them in that, yeah, in fact, when the world was destroyed, the villains destroyed themselves as well. They were gone as well. But the robots in the park persisted, and they improved themselves over time, and they did build robot duplicates of both the heroes of this world, the assemblers, as they called them, and of the villains. But the villain robots, took the place over. They destroyed the robot heroes, and they took over the world. And Carney joined them because it seemed like it was the wacky thing to do. And so here they see all these robot bodies, many of them of the heroes. Of course, they're not real people, but Silver Sorceress is still a little bit freaked out. And she's like, my God, one of them probably looks like me. And they're talking with Mitch about this, and he doesn't know what all these old robot bodies are going to do for them, but they do have an idea. They do have an idea. Back at the United Nations, the surrender is accepted. The nukes will go back in their silos, but he will, Dr. Diehard will maintain contact with them so that he can set them off in their silos if the heroes try anything funny. So back in the other world, Mitch Wacky has a device that will shut the bad guys down. It'll shut any of his robots down. It was a failsafe, but it is tied to him. So he's the one who has to push the button. And obviously there's nothing left for him on this world. So now that the Silver Sorceress is, once again steady and ready to go, she'll take them back to their world with Mitch Wacky to take out the extremist robots. So it was robots the whole blinking time. They appear, Blue Jay is amazed. They say, okay, let's go deal with this. But one thing that we also figure out is that the thing that Mitch Wacky was dying from on his world was influenza. And they're like, well, on our world, so maybe that world somehow did not have antibacterials. Something like that. Cute. But basically, yeah, they're going to be able to save Mitch Wacky's life. So the extremists are at their headquarters. Boom. Here come the good guys. They're coming in. They're coming in hot. And they go into battle, and they're stunning them, and they're taking them out, etc. And then appearing on this dune, it's him. Mitch Wacky. Hello, Tracer. Are you having a wacky day? Uncle Mitch, Uncle Mitch, Uncle Mitch, Uncle Mitch. Uncle Mitch, have you come back for us, Uncle Mitch? Speak to us, Uncle Mitch. Are we wacky enough for you? Are we happy enough for you? Uncle Mitch knows when you've been naughty and nice. Stand ready if this goes bad. And you, my boys, you have been very, very naughty. And he presses the button. Pum, pum, pum. They just fall. And then, choom, what the heck just happened to blast poor Uncle Mitch? Well, it turns out one of them was, in fact, not a robot. Now, when I was reading this occurred to me immediately. I'm like, hold on a second. Dreamslayer has magical powers. Okay, maybe you can design robots who would be able to have more scientific, but could they have built a robot with magical powers? I wondered. And in fact, yes, he is real. And he's getting ready to take everybody out. By the way, is that nice? Look at that. Look at the handwork, by the way. Just look at the work on those hands. Fantastic stuff from Bart Sears, as always. But the heroes have a couple surprises, too. As Crimson Fox takes that magical blast, no, Dreamslayer, not this time. I can absorb your spell and let it bend through me and see how you like it. No, wait a minute. Crimson Fox can do that? I thought she was just like a street level hero. And we get this blast. Look at you see the skeleton within, which you've seen whenever he uses magic, but no, that is fantastic work. So friggin' good. And then Crimson Fox turns out to actually be the Silver Sorceress in disguise. Dreamslayer did not know who he was dealing with. You know, Catherine, I still don't get how Cap knew it was the real Dreamslayer. He didn't, Wally. As I said, the Sorceress's trick was a backup to deceive the false Dreamslayer should something go wrong, as it turned out. Never mind. I get the main thing, that this mess is over. Quel monster. So basically, they have donated these robots to a museum because they're all deactivated now. Does that sound like the best plan? I don't know about that. And well, if I don't know that we have 10 weeks left. I don't know that the series will go on long enough for you to find out if it was a bad plan. I like how it ends, though. Thank you for keeping me company today, Wally. Hey, it beats sitting around watching Uncle Mitch hack up Flim. Say, maybe you and me ought to. Don't even think it, Wally. Don't even think it. Poor Wally. Poor Wally. Poor Kid Flash. No respect. So there we have it, folks. Justice League America number 43. Justice League Europe at number 19. Interesting finish to the Extremist storyline. How do you defeat these guys who seem to be undefeatable? Well, you do it basically with Walt Disney and a garage door opener. Justice League America, fun story. We get the Dark Side bar where all the villains hang out who are down on their luck. And we get Wall Tortelini coming away with a real treasure trove of super science. What on earth will Wally use that for? Could it be revenge against the Justice League, who he blames for losing his job? Well, maybe it can. We'll find out next week. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this little review, like, subscribe, share with a friend. I've been doing this all year, starting at issue number 1 of Justice League America. No, it started out Justice League, then it was Justice League International, then Justice League America, and Justice League Europe. At any rate, we started at issue number 1 on, I believe, January 1st. We're carrying it through to the end of December, and then next year, we're going to be doing something else. We'll find out as we go. So, until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there, and I will see you hopefully again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.